Good day, everyone. We'll be getting started in just about 1 minute, exactly on the 4:30 mark. Welcome for those of you joining me via Zoom. Welcome to you, everyone in the Zoom room, and anyone who's following us on any of our channels. Welcome to you as well. Would encourage you to ensure that you are. Really want to make sure that you are following us well. If you can hear my audio clearly, can you please type in the chat box that you can hear me clearly? Let's make sure that everyone can hear me clearly. So those of you, all right, I'm seeing some private messages. If you would like, thank you very much, Dan. Thank you. And if you can, once you can hear me clearly, then that's fine. Feel free to send any messages into the chat box. We will have more coaches on the line as well. And you can always use the raise hands function in case you need to ask a question. And also, as always, make sure that you feel free to send any questions that you may have into the chat box. And today will be a session that we'll go through at a fairly rapid pace. We want to make sure that you understand the 6 steps to having a better business, and the structure that is required, that we know now from 5 years of using the structure in the Guyanese market. We know that it delivers the results, and there are many companies that have been using the structure and with great success. So what I'm going to ask for those of you who are on the different social media channels, for those of you who are following along, I want to make sure that you share with me your name, your company name, something special about your particular business. And again, for those of you who are with me live today, and those of you on following us on one of our channels, this is an opportunity for people to know more about your business as well. So please share with me your name, your company name, something that's very special about you or your company, and what's your number one business challenge? Because I want to make sure that I really give you some ideas on how to deal with any business challenges that you may be facing as well. Right? So please share into the chat box those areas that you can see on your screen for your business, so that we really make sure that people can get to know what you do really well, and then also where do you need the most help? What would be really useful help to you today? Great. And again, you can send messages to me directly, which I see some of you are doing, and then you could also select the option that it goes to everyone. And I'll be keeping track here of what's happening. Very good. Thank you for the feedback coming in. So to get us started, a very vital question to you is, can I be your coach for the next 2 hours? And I would like you should all have the ability to use your reactions in the Zoom function. So can I get a thumbs up if you are ready to be coached for 2 hours? So I'm seeing a few thumbs up, right? Thank you. So everyone who's ready to be coached, fantastic. Right? Because the first step to learning is first, telling your mind that yes, I'm here, I'm open-minded, I want to get exposed to some more knowledge so that I can determine what can I use in my business, what do I need to move ahead with. So fantastic. I noticed that I have everyone's permission because my purpose here today is to make sure that I invest time with you, that you can really understand how you find the easiest ways to increase your sales and profits, free up your time. I noticed already some of you mentioned that there's almost no time to focus on anything else. And then also how to create an amazing team. To give you a little bit of background, I do want to let you know that Guyana will be going through quite a transformation over the coming years, but that transformation and the scale and the scope of that transformation really depends on all of us. How are we going to bring value to our organizations, our communities, and our country? So a little bit more about Action Coach. We are the #1 business coaching firm in the world now for 27 years. Over 1,000 offices in more than 80 countries. I think back in the day, Guyana was country number 71. And the company was started by Brad Sugars some 27 years ago. And the vision is world abundance through business re-education. In Guyana, it is Guyana's abundance, Guyana's prosperity, Guyana's happiness through business re-education. We believe that businesses have a lot to do with generating value, rewarding their employees really well, and really contributing to the country as well, so that the country can really move ahead much faster. There's about 25 to 30,000 businesses are being coached on a weekly basis. Now, our team of coaches, and some of us, I see Coach Prim is already joining us. I know Coach Keon and Coach Chanti are still in coaching sessions at the moment. But Coach Keon has been with us from the start, so 5 years of being with Action Coach Guyana. I think it's 2+ years of being a coach as well. Does fantastic work with his clients who are in the education field, in the furniture field, in the medical field, construction, so quite a range of clients. Coach Shanti is also a director with Sylvie's Industrial Solutions, which is how we got to know each other. And then the growth and the service at Sylvie's is really amazing, and she's decided to contribute a lot more to our society, to our country, by helping other organizations really lift their level of service and of adding value. And then we have Coach Prem Parsan, originally also a client from Oriental Furniture, and he also was really able to streamline quite a bit in the organization to such an extent that he has time available to contribute to help other business owners grow much faster, or the organizations grow much faster. When it comes to myself, I'm a doctor, not a medical doctor. I'm a doctor who specializes in strategic management. And a core focus of my studies was entrepreneurship and also intrapreneurship, which is innovative behavior inside organizations and also by individuals looking to bring value to society. Also an MBA, I started off being an engineer, and that really never leaves you. So one of the unique capabilities is making sure that I can really understand the technical side of the business coupled with the management side of the business, which really helps a lot. I've been involved in many business support organizations, and even today on the council and the executives of various organizations. We do need that. We need all of us to get involved in order to make our country develop much faster. We're supported by a fantastic team that really makes sure that all our clients get the support that they need in a very timely manner and effective manner, because we always want to make sure that results are what we're aiming for. So please make sure that you have a pen and a paper. I know for some of you who are more digitally inclined, your tablet or your laptop to make your notes on, because capturing the information will allow you to process it even more and then start deciding what you will and will not immediately use. Now, a little bit about learning. Um, and this is a simplification, maybe an oversimplification. But when we think about learning, a lot of our logical thought, the details, the process, words, mathematics, is very left brain, very logical. Whereas the right side of our brain is more the creative side of things, art, the big picture, the way you feel about things. And as I'm going to be working with you today, you'll be noticing that on the left side, you have some things that you've locked into your long-term memory. And on the right side, I'm going to give you some ideas that might conflict with what you have already, what you already hold to be true in your long-term memory. So I'm going to ask you that you may feel a bit of confusion, and be very happy when you experience that confusion, because it means that you're learning something new. Because if you are going through this life and not experiencing any confusion, any frustration, it means you're basically just repeating yesterday over and over again because you know it so well. There's not much growth in that. That's a recipe for being stuck in stagnation. If everything you know is just going the way you have always seen it, you're not here for that today. You're here to make sure that you get exposed to new concepts. And if it feels a little bit confusing, be very happy. It means that you're being exposed to something new. It gives you the opportunity to learn something new. So if you were in the room right now with me, you'd be making notes in colors. And if you have colors with you colored markers, it really stimulates the creative side of the brain much more. Type in, if I'm asking questions as well, type in the comment section, in the chat section, any answers that you have, or even any questions that you have as well. Just raise your hand. I really need you to be fully focused here. If you're trying to do, two other things or three other things, you may not get the maximum benefit from this particular session. So be focused, because we really want you to have the biggest benefit out of this particular session. Now, how do we live our lives? That's always very important. And yes, this is a seminar about business, but what is more important? Is your life more important, or is your business more important? If you had to think about it, which one do you believe is more important, your life or your business? I'm hoping that many of you actually choose that your life is more important, right? Because what sense does it have to have a fantastic business and life sucks? So how are you living your life? And the way we usually look at it is we say, if we have a point of power that really decides where we go, we can either live below the point or above the point. Below the point, it's what we call bad behavior. Yes, you heard me right. Not bad behavior, but bad behavior. And why do we say that? People are, when they think about their bed, they think about that comfort zone. It's so easy staying there. They don't have to move. It's like no effort being in bed. And that looks like, being in denial. Things are going wrong. You're not getting the results that you're seeking, but hey, you keep repeating the same thing over and over again. That's being in denial type of behavior. Some people snap out of denial and they end up with understanding exactly what the excuses that allow them not to get the result. They run out of time, and time is one of the biggest areas that people continue to point to when they can't get the result that they need to get. And then blame. They sometimes graduate to blame, where they know exactly who they need to blame for not getting the result that they wanted. And people who live below the point, they're always like the victim of circumstances. What we really want is what we call oar behavior. And if you think about a canoe or a little boat, an oar is the paddle, right? And once you pick the direction that you're heading in your boat, then what you want to do is pick up your paddle and start paddling in the direction that you want to be heading into. It's better than not having an oar, and then if you don't have an oar, you're just going to be floating in and out with the tide with not much progress. So instead of blaming other people, taking responsibility. So before the blame comes out of your mouth, try to keep your mouth closed and say, okay, great. what was my responsibility here? What could I have done in order to get a better result? Accountability. Look at the words here, the word in the middle, count. You can only be accountable for something if there's a number to it. Was I supposed to make 5 calls today? Was I supposed to make 2 pieces of furniture today? Was I supposed to sign off on 2 proposals today? Was I supposed to return 5 phone calls today? Was I supposed to hit $1 million in sales for the week? If you don't have a number, you can't count it, and then everything that you do becomes subjective. Yeah, we want more, we'll do it later, it's a lot. Those things are subjective, right? So accountability means that you have actually locked in your KPIs and you know exactly what you're aiming for. And then most importantly, taking ownership for your direction and for the direction of the people in your care and for your organization. People and organizations who just talk about, oh, it's me, and when something doesn't go right, they can point exactly to who is to blame. That's not leadership. Any good leader understands that what they do is their responsibility, what the people in their care do, or the people they've appointed or selected or elected, it's still their responsibility as well. They can't go blaming those people, right? And if you're the type of leader who has employees and you keep complaining about the employees and you keep paying them as well, something has to be wrong, not with the employees, because the employees keep getting their payment. You're not the one who is taking responsibility and ownership of what needs to be done next. So be very, very careful with, are you taking ownership? Because when you don't, you'll be in a situation of feeling powerless. Everything in life happens to you, versus feeling powerful, where you understand that everything in life is happening for you. And that is what we want, because in that situation, we just came out of a very difficult period in Guyana's history, maybe remembered as one of the most difficult periods in Guyana's history. However, I can tell you that the people who are living above the point of power have done fantastically throughout that entire period, and actually are even moving much faster now because of all the work they've done. And everybody who felt like, blaming, making excuses, being in denial, it's now like they're, waking up to think, okay, what do I do next? When the other persons are so far ahead. So please make a note of this and measure for yourself on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, where are you living your life? Right? Are you below the point? Are you in bed? Or are you using your oar to move towards where you need to go? And the only failure in life is the failure to participate. Right? If in the past 6 months you were giving 20% or 50%, don't expect 100% results. Right? It's always amazing listening to people complain about the results they did not get because of the work they did not do. If you didn't do the work, don't expect the results, and that requires 100% participation. Now, I'm sure that some of you may have teenagers in your household. What do teenagers know? Teenagers know everything. And is that really true? Think about people in your organization, and it could even be you as well. When somebody wants to explain something to you, if the first words that come out of your mouth are "I know," and if somebody does that to you, it stops the conversation. So even if there was something very valuable that could have been brought to you, I know, so nobody needs to tell you anything. You can't tell anybody else anything. And it stops there. There's no development, there's no forward movement. I would want to ask you to get rid of that "I know" attitude. The "I know" attitude is one of the biggest reasons why um, many companies get stuck and many countries get stuck as well, because we end up with leaders that believe that they know everything. And it's statistically impossible, right, for any single person to know everything. And if you don't seek out the best of the best, if you don't have an open mind, stagnation will be the norm. Right? So please be careful with those words "I know." And always say, if somebody comes up with something that is different from what you know, isn't that interesting? Tell me more. Explain to me, how that would work. So please banish the words "I know" in order for you to really move further much faster. Now, in order to learn as well, you must have some fun. So don't think that this is not a lecture. I'm here to share information with you. You pick and choose what you want to apply. But those of you who are here with me today, who are really serious about accelerating and moving much faster, you'll reach out to us. You'll send us a message to get the process started. Because we do this once a month. You can check for 5 years in a row. Every single month we do this session at least once to make sure that we can get to cover as many people as possible. This is free, of course. Nobody paid to be here today, so that we can help people in this way. But there are some people looking right now who are very growth oriented. They invest in themselves, they invest in their team, they have a big vision of where they want to go, and they know that they need help. They know they need support. If you're a person like that, you're the type of person who will be reaching out to us after this session, like many people have done in the past 5 years, for us to really help you accelerate your progress. And it must be fun, right? It makes no sense being an organization that's no fun, because life is short, right? We don't want to have to go through all of that and then not have really enjoyed our journey. You'll get a lot of BFOs today, which are blinding flashes of the obvious. It's like aha moments. Oh, why didn't I think about that before? So make sure you make a note of those. Already went through some of the rules. And some of you may know Andy Boyle from Eureka, one of our very first clients, and really a joy to work with, has done fantastic things with Eureka and continues to develop. We are very proud of Andy as well, and really want to make sure that more people get to experience what persons like him have experienced. So think about your business, your organization, right? Is your business actually driving you, right? Does it feel like you're running behind the business, or are you actually driving the business, right? Does the business work at the pace that you want it to, right? Or does it actually just put you under so much pressure that you really feel like you just have a job, right? And our definition of a job, unfortunately, is just over broke. Because a lot of people who actually have a job, the salary lasts up to hopefully it goes past the end of the month. But what sense does it make having your own business, and with your own business, the money you make doesn't even get you past the month? And if you are a business owner on the call, I would ask you a very key question. Do you pay yourself a salary? Because, we interact with business owners, and when we ask them that, they look at us a bit strange, because everybody got paid, all the suppliers got paid, all the employees got paid, and what they're actually hoping for is some money to be left at the end of the month. And when they look at that money, maybe it's less than what they were earning when they were an employee. So that is something that would have to be rectified, because if that doesn't get rectified, we'll end up with what is the number one reason for business failure. And can someone guess for me what the number one reason for business failure is? So if you can type into the chat box what you believe the number one reason for business failure is. And thank you for all the persons joining us via Zoom today and on the different platforms. What do you believe the number one reason is for business failure in Guyana? And not to worry, the same reason is actually the reason globally as well. But what do you think that is? I want to get you used to typing in the chat box. You'll see, if you're using a mobile phone, you'll see that on one of the options, more, and then you click on chat, and you're able to type in. And I'll be able to see that here. Right, so I'm seeing lack of finance. Lack of poor managers, poor management time, lack of resources. good one, sent to me privately, but a poor product. And you wouldn't imagine it, but most business owners never want to admit that their product is poor, right? And which is also, if you're the only one testing it out, it would be very difficult for you to know if it's poor, right? That's for your audience to decide. This is another good one, choosing the wrong target audience. Right? It's like when we ask people, who's really your target market, and they say everyone. There's almost no product in the world that everyone buys, right? Even water in Guyana, all of us don't use GWI water. All of us don't use GPL power. All of us don't eat a specific type of bread. So we have to know who the right target is, who really appreciates what we bring to the table. It's another good one, poor bookkeeping. If you don't see your numbers for last month within the first week of the new month, you can't make any improvements. You can't make any adjustments. Right? Even better, there are so many accounting software now that you can actually see it live as it's happening. But let me tell you, the number one reason for business failure is burnout. Right? When the owner just can't handle the pace anymore, and it's just too hard because they're working from 4 in the morning to midnight and day after day after day, and that really causes significant issues. Now, our definition of a successful business is a commercial, profitable enterprise that works without you. Right? So commercial can be done on a scale, profitable, because if it's not profitable, it's charitable. An enterprise, so there's parts to it that work together in order to deliver value, and it works without you, because as long as it cannot work without you, you've basically created a job for yourself. Now, our 6 steps to really getting those massive results, and make a note of each, and we always start at the base, and the base we call mastery. At the mastery level, what we work on is removing the chaos in a business, making sure that it is structured to deliver well, and I'll take you through the areas of mastery. Only when that is at a decent level do we start with niche, and niche is all about marketing. Because when you have a good product, now it's time to market it so you can get cash flow in. Once that flow starts coming in, it's time to systemize it and really have it ready for scaling up, right? Because yes, we have a system now, money's flowing in. How do we start multiplying that? How do we really set up the system to really have more people benefit from what is being done? Once we have our leverage set up, then we move on to making sure that our team gets trained on these systems. Many people come to us in the beginning and they complain about how bad the team is, but mastery is all over the place. Marketing is not even existent. There are no systems. How do we expect our team to deliver then if they have to operate in a situation like that, in a circumstance like that? Once we have that set up, then it's time to really set up leadership for the organization. So setting up a general manager to be able to take that over, because now you have a well-oiled machine. And then you decide what you start doing with the profits of the business. Do you buy new businesses? Do you do multiple branches? Do you start doing real estate? Where do you go? And this is the system that has been used around the world for 27 years and in Guyana for over 5 years to really help organizations go through that path and develop themselves. And yes, here we're talking a bit about the money, but what people also are looking for is having ways of freeing up their time, right? So that you're not the one who has to constantly be in a situation that everything depends on you. So just a little bit of a snapshot of the entire system. And what we use is the coaching system that goes through those 6 levels, but then we have 5 ways. And today I'm going to deal with the aspect of the 5 ways. How do we financially structure the business to generate more profit? But we also have the 4 ways of leverage, right? The 4 ways in which we make sure that the systems are in the business and everything is set up so that we can really move much faster. So I'm going to go through these 6 relatively quickly. For anyone who really wants to dive deeper, who wants to be able to have a one-on-one session with a coach as well, you'll reach out to us. We'll arrange a one-on-one session with the coach to work on these numbers for your business, work on these areas for your business. I can also see our coaches are joining in. So coaches, if you need to um, add anything at any point in time, um, I have given you the ability to unmute yourself. So you'll be letting me know when you'd like to join in. And mastery is really, having a commercial enterprise, right? So it's not just you and your family buying the products that you are promoting. Uh, more people outside of your friends and family actually willing to part with their money to do business with you, because the cost of chaos is when families are in a business, and in many cases smaller and medium-sized businesses, you do have family members in the business. It can even cause strained relationships as well. And some of you who might have gone through this already, you might have families where family members don't talk to each other because of poor financial management, poor structuring within a business. And what we really want is to move from that chaos to a level of control, to really make sure that people can collect, track, save, and spend the money that is being earned. You actually have to be in control of your money. Now, there are 4 areas to mastery, and again, I have to figure out the way here. Keon, would you like to deal with the 4 areas of mastery? Yes, we can hear you, Keon.
Excellent. So, pleasant good afternoon to everyone on the call. Just came out of a fantastic session with a client, and we are working on these areas of mastery. Now, the 4 areas of mastery, Coach Vishnu, can I just see your screen? Excellent. Which one are you bringing up? All right. So, there are 4 areas of mastery. We have destination mastery, money mastery, time mastery, and delivery mastery. Destination mastery speaks to getting the clarity needed to move forward in your business, to the direction that you want to go in your business. So, under destination mastery, we take a look at your vision, your mission, your culture points that you have in the business. Now, it is just like the blueprint that you'll have for constructing a building. That will be similar blueprint that will be created for your business. Do you have a business plan of where you would like your business to be or look like within the next year, within the next 3 years, within the next 5 years? So we'll definitely be looking into those areas. Money mastery. Money mastery speaks to not only just knowing your numbers, but being able to track your numbers. One of the uh, biggest areas we see for improvement within many businesses is the lack of having their financial statements being done accurately and, of course, being available in a timely manner. Money mastery is extremely important because business doesn't run on emotions and feelings. Businesses run on numbers. And knowing your numbers is going to be one of the most critical part of making sure that your business runs efficiently. We have seen business owners come into our offices and they cringe, they cry, they fret, they row with themselves when we let them understand how important money mastery is. Even simple distinguishing between markup and margin is one of the critical areas because many times we just do the markup and we love to give discounts here in Ghana. We believe it's part of the culture of how we do business. We help you to set up your business so that you can sell on value. And when you do a 20 or 30% markup and you decide to give a discount, you're actually giving away your profits, which means you sometimes have to work 2 and 3 times harder to make the same amount of money. This can be explained further when you sit with a coach and we really have that one-on-one session with you. We can dive into the numbers of your business and help you to understand this aspect even better. The next area of mastery talks about time mastery. And this is going to be critical because people often believe that other persons are lucky when they can get ahead in business. The biggest difference is that those persons engage in what we call self management. They know where their time is going, they know how they're investing their time versus spending their time. They create default diaries. We use different tools to help us manage how we invest our time. Working with us, you will go through these time mastery strategies. We will introduce you to the tools that can help you to increase your productivity as a business owner. So instead of saying that you're always busy, many times when we sit with a business owner and we've heard that they're busy, and we give them a time log sheet, you might be surprised to see the gaps that exist in their day where they're not doing anything that is extremely productive. So time mastery is going to be very, very key. And finally, we talk about delivery mastery. How can we deliver our products and services consistently? Not when I come to do business with you, I'm getting a certain level of service, maybe because of the way I'm dressed or because of what I'm buying. And then when somebody else comes, the service is not where it's supposed to be. Or we start off giving excellent service and then the service quality keeps diminishing every single day. And I'm sure there are examples upon examples that you can even relate to, that you've seen great service in the beginning and then the service quality keeps reducing. How do we ensure that your setup that your customers can reach you to access your products and services? Do you need to have an additional location? Do we need to look at your opening hours? So how do we continuously deliver consistently to our customers?
Thank you very much, Kion. And Kion just mentioned exactly what we mean with destination mastery, making sure that you know where you're going to, making sure that as well from a money mastery perspective, that you know don't just know your past numbers, but you're also projecting where you actually want to hit in the future. Um, Making sure that you actually have budgets and the reporting. So budgets is where am I going in the future, and reporting is it happening, so that you actually chart that path for where you want to head, and also that you know your break even, so that you're not in a situation where you're trying to make rush and make your profits at the end of the month or at the end of the week, but halfway through the period that you actually hit break even, so that you can actually make some profits as well. Because businesses are seen as the villains a lot in society, when many people don't understand that there are many businesses who are making significant losses, who are barely breaking even, where everybody gets paid, including the employees, except the people who actually put money into the business. And you know, they don't even want to come out and say that that is the reality, because they're ashamed of saying it as well. That I'm running this big business, 15 employees, 100 employees, and we're not actually making money. We hear it with the big ones. It's easy to know that Gaisuku has so many employees and they're not making money. They're actually losing money. We know that. I can guarantee you it's happening across the board, right? With a lot of companies that are not in such a good, not so, in such a healthy spot. And in some cases, it's because they are not familiar with exactly how do they measure their numbers? How do they know how much units they need to push, the level of activity, etc. And then Kian also mentioned time, right? And this is probably the easier way to look at time. Where does our attention go? Are we focused on things that are not urgent and not important? So nobody is holding a gun to your head, do this thing now. It's not important because it doesn't move you closer to your vision. If you are actually busy putting your time there, you're distracted. Right? It's distractions that are hitting you all the time. If you're busy with things that are urgent, somebody's making a ton of noise about it, and it's not important, it's not taking you where you need to go, then you're busy with the delusional behavior, right? Because somehow you're creating urgency in your mind, or you're letting people create urgency in your mind. Then you can also be focused on the things which are urgent and important. Yeah, so important, we need to do it, and it has to be done now. We call that demand. So that's understandable because that moves you along. Where we really want each and every one of you to be is what we call the not urgent but important zone. These are the things that you schedule and you do as they're needed because they deliver the big results. So each and every one of you here today in the session, it is because you scheduled the time to be here. You saw the information that this was coming up, you registered, you put it in your calendar, you know that on Thursday from 4:30 to 6:30, you have a webinar that can transform your life, can transform your business, and you're here and you're focused to make sure that, okay, what do I need to do? How do I need to move forward? What do I need to learn? This is what we call working on the business. And this is exactly what delivers the results that many are seeking, but they're not practicing. So this is what is really needed. We actually have yeah, Dr. Surendra Prasad, who's coached by Keon as well, a fantastic organization as well, Caribbean Surgery Inc., where the level of service, the level of innovation that is being applied as well, where they're really serving not just the Guyanese population, but internationally as well. They're one of the main players in serving the oil and gas industry. And it is because of the level of quality that they deliver in their service. And, there is no one, sometimes it amazes me that the very best in our society, like the very best athletes, are the ones who get the very best coaches. And the average performers think that they don't need a coach. And it always puzzles me. If there's one thing that puzzles me, it's that. Because I would think, if I was average, I really want a coach because there's so much room for me to grow. And the people who are really growing themselves are the ones who are already good, but they want to get great. And, those are the type of people that we really enjoy serving. Keon did ask you the question, are you delivering consistently? Every time somebody comes to you, can they expect the same level of service? And they know that it will keep getting better. Not when I come and I'm well dressed and you recognize me, I get the service fit for a king. And when somebody else comes along and they're not that well dressed or well spoken, they get a different level of service. You don't know how much money I have in my pocket. You don't know how much money that person has in their pocket. You don't know which one of us actually really needs the thing that you are selling. So isn't it important that both of us get the best possible service that your organization can deliver to them? Now, we then move on to the second level. Once we have those 4 areas of mastery done, we move on and we start fixing niche. And niche is all about profits, right? How do we sell to the right target audience that actually appreciates what we bring to the table in a way that it's profitable? Because if there are no profits, the business can't survive for very long. And we actually have Coach Prem who's going to tell us a little bit about this particular area. Coach Prem, can you come off of mute? Go ahead.
Yes, I'm off of mute. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
All right, so this is thank you and good afternoon, everyone. This is an area where a lot of businesses fall into, and we begin to. This is our premier strategy that we use, and we look at the prices in the market, and we look, all right, I can beat that price, I can reduce my price and match that price, and that is how I'll get customers. But this is not the what we've found is that this is not the ideal way of how we do business. This is price competition. We don't want you to be competing on price. We want you to be competing on value. So we at Action Coach in our businesses, what we do is we work with you to be able to add value to the products, to the services that you have, so that you won't be caught in this spiral of just cutting your prices down. Because when you cut your prices down, what do you think? What else do you think you're cutting? You're also cutting on your profits, and it's your profits that actually you pay your wages, you pay your expenses, and you pay all these other expenses that you have. So when you compete on price, that that you have to be really careful on looking at your break even, as we mentioned before. Many companies, they they don't know their break even, and this is the thing that really sucks a lot of companies down when you don't know your break even because you don't see it. Eventually, you eventually can't buy now, or you can't buy. You eventually now your inventory starts to reduce, and you don't see it. So it's something that affects your business, but you don't really see it. It's just eating away from inside. So price competition is something that you really got to look out for. All right. Yep. What we look to do is to find that thing that you are really good at, to find your uniqueness in the market. And as Coach Vishnu mentioned, that thing that you are that's special about what you offer, because that is what is going to differentiate you from the market. It's your unique selling proposition, right? So we work with you to be able to identify what are the little things that you do that your customers appreciate, that your customers will come back to you for. All right. We also look at your guarantee. A guarantee is so important for your customers because it reduces the risk of doing business with you. It gives them that level of comfort that you are going to deliver and you are going to stick to your word, and whatever you said that you were going to deliver, you are going to deliver it, and you're going to deliver it consistently with the same quality and service.
Thank you, Coach Prem, because what we don't want to do is we want to ensure that your business doesn't become a commodity. And what a commodity basically means is that you're in a situation where everybody's like just like you, right? It's like buying rice, right? If all the rice is in the same kind of bag, it doesn't matter. You can just pick any bag of rice, and then whoever has the cheapest price, that is whose rice you will buy. Rice is an example of a commodity. Cement is an example of a commodity. Steel rods are an example of a commodity. And if it's just the steel rod and it's a half-inch steel rod, you're looking for the lowest price because nobody told you why their steel rod is better than somebody else's steel rod. Right? So what we want to do is to make sure that people understand that what is the innovation that you bring to the table? What if somebody else is selling a 11 steel rod and calling it half-inch and underselling you because you're selling something that is 12.5 which is the actual dimension for a half-inch rod, which means that you're actually getting the size that is needed. So if you actually make people aware that you have the thing that they really need, then it's more likely that they'll be willing to pay the price that you're asking for. So how do we take you from being a commodity to really being an innovative type of product that has a lot of room for growth? When it comes to rice as well, there are certain specialty rices. If you think about basmati is a rice, it's a long grain rice, and they've built the whole story about it, of why it is a rice that digests better and how it's grown and all that. And because of those reasons, we pay I think it's nearly 5 times more per pound for that rice than we pay for regular rice, because they have brought the innovation to that particular product. And sometimes they don't even bring it. They've outlined what the innovation is, and they've done it well. Now, have you done that for your products and services? Prem mentioned the types of guarantees, because sometimes you just need to remove the risk of people doing business with you. If you're really that good, if you have mastery covered, then why should it be the customer's risk to do business with you? Right? So even in our case, we're not asking, we don't want anybody to pay for today's session. Here, test us out. Even, for those of you who are really serious, who will benefit from a free coaching session, the reason it is free is we want you to actually feel what it feels like to be coached, have the experience, see the power that it unlocks in your brain and in your organization, and then we'll decide if you should be paying for coaching. The people who sell Guineps, they probably know it the best, right? Because if you really had to just watch a bunch of Guinep and decide if you're going to buy it, you might not buy it. They know that if they get you to taste that Guinness, it is likely that you will buy the Guinness. But what we don't want is that in your business, you give people the best that you have to taste, and then the rest of the bunch sucks. You have to make sure that you can deliver at that level consistently so that you can allow people to taste what your service is generally like. And then they're able to make a much better decision. Now, I'm going to take you through the Action Coach marketing leverage chart. And if you look at these two vehicles, which vehicle would you rather drive? The one on the top or the one on the bottom? So very quickly in this in the Zoom chat box, in the comments, which one of these vehicles would you rather be driving? All right, so I'm seeing them coming through pretty fast here at my end, but if you want to make sure that everyone sees your answer, you can choose to send your answer to everyone. But I'm seeing 3 people already put the bottom one, right? And we can see how it looks fancier, and it looks like it's faster and all of that. But the key thing with these two vehicles is that they sit on the same chassis. They sit on the same wheelbase, and what we need to do in our organization in order to determine if how we measure up is we need to actually test and measure. We need to ensure that we know the key numbers that make our business successful. Now, the things that business owners know is they generally know how many customers they have, what their revenues have, and what the profits are that they're making. But if you look at it, these are all just results. They're results. What we want to do is let you know what makes up for these results. And you can see them in red, right? Customers, revenues, profits. If there's anything that you're going to take away from today, please take away the formula, because this formula will allow you to really maximize the business, to know where you need to press, on which buttons you need to press to increase the profit in a business. And it starts off with number of leads. And the number of leads are the number of people who make contact with your business. Your marketing has actually worked, and they make contact with your business. And let's say for this example business, 4,000 people per year have seen your marketing, and they either call you, they WhatsApp you, they send you a Facebook message, they come to your store, or whatever other method that you have that people can make contact with you. So in our little make-believe business here, it's 4,000 per year. When we sit and we work with you, we'll work out what these numbers are for your own business so we can figure out what needs to be done. Conversion rate is, yes, these people are coming to you now, but how many of them are actually turning into customers? So in our example, for every 4 people who come to the business, 1 becomes a customer. Right? So that means that we have a conversion rate of 25%. That allows us to have 1,000 customers, right? 4,000 came through the door, only a quarter of them bought, means we have 1,000 customers. Then we need to look at, in a year, how frequently do people buy from you? And in our example, we're saying, okay, these people might come back twice a year. If you're selling bread, it might be 3 times per week, which means it's 150 times for the year that people would come back to you. If you're selling life insurance, maybe the people just have to pay the premium once a year. So that would be 1 time per year. If you're selling a car, maybe people just buy a car every 5 years. So that becomes 0.2. Right? It's 1 divided by 5, so 0.2. But you must know this for your business, right? If you're a salon, for example, how often do people come and do their hair? If it's me, it might be 0.001. If it's Prim, you might actually see Prim once a month. So it would be 12 times per year that Prim would be coming by. And then we have to look at what is the average dollar sale. When somebody comes to you, some people spend maybe 10,000 with you, some people spend 100,000 with you. Take the day's sales and divide it by the number of bills, and you'll understand exactly on average how much money does a single customer bring to you. And for example, we're just going to say it's about $100. So when we take the number of customers by how often they buy, by on average how much they spend, we know the revenue for this business. And in this case, it's 200,000. Profit margin is, what amount of the revenues are actually our profits. In this case, 25% means this little business here is actually generating 50,000. Now, what we want to do is, with working with the coach, the goal is to get all the numbers in blue to increase, because that's how we increase the bottom line. And what we're going to do in this example is just say, okay, what if we just increase them by 10% each? And again, I must tell you, when you sit with your coach, you'll see some of these areas can increase by 100%, some may be able to increase by 5%, some you may not want to increase, right? So if people already, they buy your bread and they buy bread every single day of the week, so it's already at 365. Do we want them to buy more bread? I don't know. Maybe they might look like bread if they buy bread twice a day. So, okay, maybe some things you are already doing fantastically, no increase, we leave it as it is. But that is between you and your coach when you start analyzing what your specific business really needs. So, number of leads. Most businesses don't have a proper social media presence, they don't have a proper website. They don't take advantage of opportunities to be on the radio, be in the newspapers. They don't pick up the phone and call other people in their area that could be doing business with them. Just by doing a couple of those things, and for every one of these blue areas here, your coach has about 100 ways of increasing it, and we'll need to find about 5 or 10 for your specific business. So a 10% increase means you're at 4,400 now for the year. Conversion rate, in many cases, there's no sales script, right? So it's not written down what your employees should be saying to customers. So in the mornings, if they feel good, they say, hey, good morning, sir, how are you? The day when they wake up on the wrong side of the bed is, what do you want? So that is going to really mess with your business when you have different approaches from your employees. So once we lock in, this is the way we deal with our customers in our business. That usually increases the conversion rate. Good follow-up increases the conversion rate. Having a sales process that is designed to have people experience your product or service increases the conversion rate. And these are all areas that we would focus on. But now you see the percentage starts adding up cumulatively. So no, it's not 1,200 customers, it's 1,210 because it's 10%, and then we do 10% on top of the 10% that we had. Number of transactions. How do we get people to come more frequently? What if we tell Prem, well, when you come, you can bring your son along and he can get his haircut at, because it's 2 of you, you'll get your second son. So not just Noah, you bring Isaiah to, and Isaiah gets his haircut for free. Now they've just increased their number of transactions, right? What if Prem is really supposed to be cutting his hair once every 3 weeks, because when he leaves it for once per month, the whole Sharuk style really goes out of whack. So they call him, exactly 20 days. They call him and say, Prem, is a reminder for your haircut tomorrow. So now Prem starts coming in 3 weeks instead of 4 weeks when, the hairstyle goes kind of sideways. He's there on time and he makes sure that, what did the business just do? The business just increased its number of transactions. Average dollar sale. So, Prem and his sons are at the barbershop. Hey, Prem, have you tested out our latest gel? Right? So not only will Prem get the haircut, Prem is also buying the latest gels and the latest hair products and all of that. So instead of them selling Prem $100 worth of haircuts, they might now sell Prem $200 worth of stuff. Right? And by doing so, we actually end up now with a much higher revenue, right? 46% higher by just making little incremental increases along the way. Now, how do you increase the profit margin? Step number 1, when your total sales went up, you don't have to pay more rental. You don't have to pay a lot of the fixed expenses. You don't pay more, which means automatically the profit margin goes up. But also you stop discounting. As Prem mentioned, every time you discount, you're telling people that this is not my real price. I was trying to fool you, but you caught me, so here, take the real price. And every time you give a discount, guess what they're going out on the road and telling people? You're telling them, hey, don't worry about that price. Tell them this is the price and tell them me says so. And, you get people coming and bothering you for discounts, and nobody takes your pricing seriously. And of course, I'm telling you, don't overcharge people, but make sure you charge something that is a fair exchange of value for what you provide. And you'll notice that you go from a profit of 50,000 to a profit of 80,525, which is a 61% increase, right? And this is the financial structure which we utilize to have organizations grow their top line and their bottom line much faster. Now, what would you do if you actually had, 61% more profits? And for business owners, there are a lot of things that they would love to do, get themselves a new car, go for a holiday. Many business owners haven't gone on holidays forever because, they're locked in the business. What would you do with the extra time? Instead of you being locked in the business and, actually have time, would you invest more time with important people? Right? And we see some examples, would you want to actually invest more time with your family? Would you like to invest more time with your team? We have a lot of friends and we come together, every 3 months to plan out. So we take one full day off, and the next session like that is actually coming up on I believe it is, let me see, the 12th of September. It's either the 11th or the 12th of September, where we take an entire day off. We usually come together. Last time we did it virtually because of the coronavirus, and with what's happening right now, we might actually do the next one virtually as well. So wherever you are, you might actually have the opportunity to join us for the entire day, where we take a look at the last 3 months and we plan out in detail what we will do for the next 3 months, day by day, week by week, in order to get the results that we are looking for. And some of the companies as well are award winners. Just yesterday we received the awards from the Business Excellence Forum because one of our own companies in Guyana here, Techlify Inc., won 2 global awards, one for the best software company and also one for the best developed software. And every year the team gets bigger and bigger that goes to these conferences. Our next conference is in February in Las Vegas. So we're really hoping that there's a vaccine by then so that we can get all cleared up, or that, we have gone past the peak, so that we can come together as a great group and really enjoy the learning, because it's about 4 days. So we have a lot of education, a lot of awards, a lot of fun that we do together globally on an annual basis. Because as I mentioned to you, right, business needs to be fun, needs to be celebrated. And again, when we look at these numbers here, we see that small 10% increases are what get us the big results, small increases. And Warren Buffett, second wealthiest man in the world, says not necessary to do extraordinary things to get extraordinary results, right? What you need to do is do the ordinary things extraordinarily well. Then we move on to leverage. And Keon is going to tell us a little bit about leverage.
All right, thank you very much. So leveraging is all about creating the systems in your business. This is all about doing more with less. Now, systems, as our acronym says, is saving yourself time, energy, and money. One of the areas that we really push for the business owners is how do we ensure that we systemize the operations so that you can start to reclaim some of your time. Many times we hear business owners saying, well, I have to do it myself because nobody is going to do it as good as me. If you're one of the persons who have that mantra that you continuously repeat, I'm going to tell you to stop it, because what you're effectively doing is just making yourself as part of the business where the business cannot operate without you. So the systems, from how to open and close your place of business, how you should serve your customers, systems for collecting payment or for delivering a product. All of those are systems that you can work on within the business so that you can deliver with that level of consistency. What I love about the systems, and even up to now, it is creating a business that you can match international standards, because we are going right now in the space of Guyana. We are moving towards having global companies come and do business here in Ghana. And we want to make sure that we can create our businesses that we can compete with them on any scale. So the 9 ways to systemize your business talks about having your vision, your mission, which is your vision statement. Make sure that it's up on the wall where other people can see it. Don't be afraid to share your vision. A good thing about the vision is that it must be long enough to cover the essentials, but short enough so that it can be remembered by your team members. Your mission statement is the roadmap to your vision. How are you going to get there? And your vision and mission statements should also be up on your wall. One of the things that we do when we visit businesses is that when we see the mission and the vision and the team member is passing, we usually stop them and ask about what is the vision of this company? And sometimes, let's say 8 out of 10 times, they cannot say what it is. And sometimes they make up stuff. And you might be surprised when they do make it up. Sometimes it sounds better than what is even on the wall. So we want to have those up and ready. It's up on the wall. We want to work on your culture statements. What is good for your core values? You want to set SMART goals, and not just any goals that you want to grow the business, but those goals that are very, very smart, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and of course, has a time factor. We then work on the organizational chart of what it currently is now and what you want it to look like a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. We then will help you to positional contracts. And the positional contracts, as the name suggests, it is based on the position and not on the individual. Oftentimes, businesses create job descriptions around an individual versus what the position entails. Step number 7 is having your KPIs, which is outlining your key performance indicators. And this can be done by department and overall for the business. Number 8, we create the how-to systems. So for every one of the positions, we have the how-to for each task that the person needs to get done so that we can ensure that it is being done according to the standards we are looking for. Then number 9, bringing it together your management systems. And this is where business can actually move to a position of being able to franchise, where you have your management system set up. And we would have been able to do this with a business that we had in Cariveton, Venus, Liberty Planet. Because it was systemized, we were able to actually sell the business with the management systems in place. So the new owner just had to come in and take over, and the operation still remain running as smooth as ever. And once you have these in place, you can actually sell your business for more than just the asset value. You can actually sell your business for the goodwill, as you see, or the going concern of the business, because you took the time to systemize.
Thank you very much, Keon. We now will take a look at team, because that is really the commercial profitable enterprise that actually, so the enterprise works without you because you actually have a team in place. We then have Coach Shanti, who's going to take us through this.
Thank you, Vishnu. And when you think about your team, so what I said, most employees are motivated, energetic, committed, enthusiastic, and loyal. However, when you think of your team, are they motivated? And when we think of team and when they come on board, how do you actually inspire them to be on? Keon spoke about that vision and the mission. Are they actually buying into your vision and mission? And so it starts even from the onboarding part of it, right? And so they might be very excited, as Tom Peters is saying here, but then when they come to work for you, then it becomes a different story, right? So are you demotivating them or are you energizing them when they come to work for you? When you think of as a business owner, what I found is that many business owners are so busy taking care of their customers and their businesses. And when you understand this cycle is that the owner is supposed to take care of the team takes care of the customer takes care of the business, and the business takes care of the owner. What we see on the opposite side, the way you treat your team members is ideally how they will treat your customers. You're not in front of those customers on a everyday basis. It is your team that is who's dealing with these customers. So how are you treating them in the back end before they can actually be able to treat your customers the way they want? The customers, on the other hand, if they're treated well and they develop that kind of relationship with your business, they would want to always come back and buy. And because they're supporting your business, then the business is flourishing and will develop into such a booming business that fulfills your personal goals that you have started this business for. Moving on. So there's the keys that we call the 6 keys for a winning team, and it starts with strong leadership. If the organization or your company do not have strong leadership, you will see that many times you complain all the time about the team, and you will blame the team for not performing. You will make excuses why you're not hitting your target. So look at your leadership style. Look at, maybe you need to develop in leading your team. So start with yourself as a leader of the company. Look at the common goals. Are there goals that everyone understand and working towards? Is it the goal? Is it more than just profit? Right? What is the purpose for your business? Why is it existing? Then what are the rules that you're going to operate by? As a business, what are these rules of the game? Are the rules going to be where the team understands it and following it? Or are there rules where the customer comes in and they are treated however you feel like? Or maybe even you think about some business owners, let us maybe skimp on our material or something along that line because they don't have no integrity. So what are those values that you're going to operate by? What is the action plan? A simple action plan is who will do what by when. In the business, who is doing what? Is everyone in the business know what they're supposed to be doing? Support, risk taking, right? Do you actually allow the team to lead on certain things and allow them to actually take certain risk? And I would say calculated risk. 100% involvement and inclusion. If you are not getting everybody involved, it's likely that there are going to be people who sits in your company who have really good ideas and you'll never hear it out of them because you're not getting them involved. So moving on, when you think of the team, it's you as the driver for this bus. Where are you taking this organization, right? How are you onboarding people? Do you get the right people on the bus? And when you look at the bus, there are multiple seats. When you look into your companies, there are multiple, department and positions. Are you putting the right people in the right seat? So as you examine your onboarding skills, think also if you're hiring someone for sales per se, do you disc them? And there's disc assessment that are available online. There's also paid assessment that you can contact us and get a complete report. But ideally, when you learn of the type of the position of a sales, for example, a high person who's very influential, who can actually, sell ice to the Eskimos is ideal person that you want for a position like that. But if you don't understand each position, what it entails, and then the person before so that you can have a good match for that position, then you will have people who might be a C into a selling position that really don't like talking to people and prefer a back-end kind of work. And you have that kind of mismatch happening, and then you say this person really, you get frustrated and you start blaming them for not performing. So learn this and understand there are people who are suitable for one of the job better than someone else. and understanding that. So you can learn about this too as you attend one of our this training session too.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shanti. And Prem, if you can tell us a little bit about AccuMatch.
Yes, AccuMatch is another assessment, but this one here is more focused on behaviors. We all know that behaviors is the key that the key thing that we look at in our organization. We look at attitude. When we are hiring, we look at the attitudes that the persons would have in the organization. The skills can be learned, but the willingness and that motivation to learn and to develop and to be that person of excellence, that is what matters. The AccuMatch is an objective way of how you can be able to test those or have an idea of how those behaviors show up within that individual. Now, your behaviors are formed from your past experiences. For example, when you would have been as a boy or a girl, and you would have learned about the stove, and when the fire is lit, you know exactly that thing will burn. So what happens is that you've learned that lesson as a little kid, and the things that burnt us during our lives now frames our behavior. And we're not some of it we're not conscious of it. So these are the things, these are the framework, or these are the lens that we use to make decisions in our lives. And this is how we look at the things that we have in our lives. So it is so important that you are able to determine, or this is what will help you in determining, enrolling the right people with the right behaviors in your organization, so that you can be able to get the results as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and now I believe when Prem talks about as quickly as possible, making sure that you have the right people in the right seats on the bus, that are you the right driver for the bus? And in some cases, if you're currently the owner or the leader, you may not be the right driver for the bus. Get the right driver for the bus. And again, tools like this, tools like AccuMatch help with figuring out what's really happening and what is really needed as well, so that you can really get to a level where you have a well-oiled machine that is generating consistent profits that you can then invest otherwise. So I mentioned you can install a general manager and put it on autopilot. And Richard Branson is known worldwide as, a portion was invested in many, many companies. And he says that if you can learn to run one business successfully, then there's no reason you can't run any number of businesses at the same time. And Jim Rohn says, never wish that your life were easier, wish that you were better. And I would actually say, don't wish that you're better, actually work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Put in the work in order to get better. Our own Brad Sugar says, where you'll be in 5 years will depend very heavily on the books you read, the people you associate with, and as you can't just learn and not apply. So it depends heavily on the actions that you take as well. We have, Sandra Cummings, the CEO of Florid Guyana and Cummings Wood Products. If you haven't seen their floors as yet, if you ever visit our conference room, you'll see that magnificent, masterpiece of a floor. And he really is bringing pride to, Guyanese products. And it's really a pleasure to be able to support his growth as well, and to see how his company continues to evolve. They actually do have a showroom in North Road, obliquely opposite Gizmos. So stop in and take a look, and you'll be amazed by what is being produced right here in Guyana. Now, after a session like this, there are basically two directions that you can go in. You can try improving the business on your own, or you can be interested in getting massive results like many of the 300 plus companies that we've worked with have received and continue to receive. So let's take a look at it very quickly. What are your options? And before we jump into that, people want to know what is business coaching, because someone asked me up to yesterday, could you could you send us something? Could you send us a handout on business coaching? And when somebody asks a question like that, you kind of understand that they don't know what business coaching is, and it's understandable. It's still fairly new. Whereas training is where we can pick a topic where I'm the expert and I train you on that specific area for you to get better. Coaching assumes that you have some knowledge within you already that we will now extract, add on the missing pieces, the gaps, and then work out a plan how you get your results. That is what we do as coaches. So we do have to sit with you individually to figure out what is the knowledge that you currently have, what are the gaps, how do we fill the gaps, and how do we work the plan that comes out of the coaching session. Now, the key thing that coaches work on, and especially business coaches, are making sure that you end up in a situation that there's more cash flow, more profit, more teamwork. And I think, the most valuable thing that our clients tell us is the amount of free time that they end up with, especially if they've done the initial 3 to 6 months to get the business up to speed. Because I must tell you, there is 3 to 6 months worth of intensive work that has to be done. I actually do have a magic wand. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. As soon as it does, we'll get it done the same day. You'll be able to walk into Action Coach and walk out in one day, and the business will be fixed and nothing else left to do. And I'll let you know as soon as we have the magic wand fixed and working. But in the meantime, the process is 3 to 6 months to get the business to mastery level, into the marketing level, so that you can actually focus more on the systems and the team. Now, for businesses who really want to be able to move forward faster, starting with the big picture, we have the Growth Club. The next one is coming up on September 11th. So if you are interested, make sure that you make a note and send to us. You can message any one of us as well that you want to take part in the quarterly planning session. We call it Growth Club. What we also have as well is Business Rich, which is like a 2-day intensive education session. I'm giving you some of the options here. For people who really want to create momentum as well, we have what is called Action Club. It's 7 sessions, and this is our curriculum. These are the areas that we touch on to make sure that you have what is really like a mini MBA. Because what we've done is picked out all the practical parts of the MBA, and this is what will get transferred to you it's about 3 hours per session. And then after every session, they're 2 weeks apart, you have to apply the skill so that it becomes a habit. And for people who really want to go much faster, we do have one-on-one coaching programs. We do have, I'll ask Shanti to just speak a little bit about the group program, which we call Profit Club, that allows you to be coached in a group if you are still at the beginning phases of the business and finances might be an issue. So Shanti, if you can quickly explain, how does the Profit Club work in a group setting?
So the Profit Club is coaching only thing in a group. And what we do is that we meet for an hour and a half in a group size of maximum 5 persons. And you get coach, and also you get some amount of teaching based on if you don't understand a concept or which area you might be struggling with. And we go through that so everyone actually learn from it. So out of that one session, you'll have multiple things that what the other want to get out of the session, so you get to learn from each other too. And it's once a week for 90 minutes, and the value of that is $120,000 for every 12 weeks.
Thank you very much. So if you're maybe undecided and you want to test it out with fantastic results, then Profit Club will be maybe the solution for you, where you are coached with a group. Other than that, there are one-on-one programs that are at a much higher pace as well, that really allow you to get results much faster. And when the coach sits with you, we'll actually work out, well, what does the business require? What do you require? Are you coachable, first of all, or do you have an I know attitude? Are you coachable? Do you really want to move yourself forward faster? That's decision number 1. Decision number 2 is the business coachable, right? So if we do all of this hard work and all this all this work that needs to be put in between ourselves, between you, will the business actually be able to generate the profits? So if you are ready for coaching and the business is ready for coaching, then we just have to see, do we work well together? Do we actually click? Because your relationship with your coach is a long-term relationship. It goes on for years. We have our clients from 4 or 5 years still with us today. So it is a long-term relationship. So we do have to see, well, can you actually work together? So 3 things. You're actually ready for massive improvements. Your business has the potential to generate the income, and you and your coach really see that the relationship can work, then it would be crazy not to move ahead. And coaching is free. I don't know if anybody's shocked, but coaching is free because the increase in income, the time that you free up, the smoother your team works, will be far in excess of whatever you pay for coaching. So in my opinion, coaching pays for itself. Coaching pays for itself. Now, Tiger Woods actually said, no matter how tough you think you are, you can't do this on your own. And as I mentioned, right, the best athletes in the world have the best coaches. Sometimes the people who are, still struggling are the ones who are not getting a coach. And again, I must tell you, we're not a hospital, right? We're not really for the sick and wounded, for people who are barely scraping by and doing businesses that really don't have a uniqueness and they can't figure out what it is. And maybe there is none. If you're unsure, have a meeting with the coach so the coach can actually help you figure out, does this business actually has a good potential to be able to develop in the future, so that we can really get you to a place where you are driving the business. You are driving the business. And if you're thinking about coaching and you've thought about it in the past and it brings up a little fear or excitement, it means that you're ready to make a big decision. If right now you're looking at this and you're feeling like, it doesn't do anything for me, then maybe this is not the decision. But if after everything that you've heard today, you feel like, I really think I should, step number 1 is messaging us. You'll see the email, calling any one of us, and we'll start the process there, and you'll get a free between 1 to 2 hour session that will help us determine if you are the candidate. So all you need to do is to make sure that you submit. We have a background questionnaire that will allow us to research your business, research you, and then also start analyzing what the potential of the business is before we meet with you. Because it's going to be an intense 1 to 2 hours, so we need to know enough in order to make sure that we can really have full use and the best use of that 1 to 2 hours. So you'll see the email address on the screen. I would ask you to make sure that you take a note of that, send the email, let us know that you're ready to have your free business coaching session, and then our team will start booking you in. Prem, is there anything that you would like to share in closing?
Yes, just to add in just a few points to what Coach Vishnu shared, is step 1 is that we'll send you the questionnaire. The questionnaire is really pivotal for any business. It has questions in there that would, just by going through the questionnaire and answering those questions in that questionnaire, will be able to improve your business if you take action on it. That's step 1. Step 2, after that, we'll give you a call, 15 minutes call, right? To be able to go through that questionnaire. After that, then we'll have that meeting. Then we'll be able to make a decision, because that meeting now, we have to be able to make a decision, yes or no. Are we going to be able to make a decision to step forward? But I want to say congratulations for those of you who made it to the end of the call. Why? Because you have shown the commitment that it takes to actually make progress. Actually, we're seeing now that you're the ones that actually made that commitment to take it through the entire learning. And that is the first step. So congratulations on that. And I must encourage you to go ahead and let's take it to the next level. That's your next step.
Thank you very much. Keon, any closing comments? And also, if you can help me get the feedback from the Zoom room whilst I take a look at the other platforms. But your feedback and your advice to persons on the call.
Definitely. So, congratulations for investing the last hour and a half, 2 hours of your time. And that investment can only be rewarded with a move forward in growing yourself and your business. I would like to say to the persons on the call, you can always do further background checks on us on our Facebook page. We have our own YouTube channel. You can even speak to some of our clients, and they will tell you what coaching is all about and how they have benefited from our coaching relationship. If you really want to grow yourself and your business, then this would probably be one of the best decisions that you will make going forward. On that note, as Coach indicated, for those persons who have their feedback to share with us, you can do so in the chat room. Definitely be looking forward to working along with you guys. Submit your questionnaires as Coach Prem outlined, and let us have that one.